Hey everybody, it's me, Summoner Respiratory Flex. Call me Flex for short, or whatever you want to call me. I'm feeling really good tonight, so I don't really care. In the last episode, we made our way through Magmoor Caverns to Phendrana Drifts, which seems to be quite a change of climate. So, what say we take a look? So pretty. Seriously, this game already looks really good, but this area in particular, just the snow, all the snow graphics, everything. I'll stop gushing now. Flicker bats, don't worry too much about them. Scan everything, and that's the thing you're gonna see a bunch of. And here's something to note. That basically means you can hit it with a missile. These things you also need to use a missile because, yeah, reasons. Use that to unlock the door above. That's a little obscure. Anyway, now that we've gotten here, yeah, everything's going pretty well. It's the second time that's not what I meant to say, but it's somehow what started to come out of my mouth. This is the second time I've recorded today. I recorded the last episode earlier. Okay, technically it's not even, this is the first time I've recorded today because it's after midnight. Stop being pedantic about it. But I feel like I'm doing pretty well with recording today. Check this thing. This is the scatter bamboo, which is kind of like the pulse bamboo, but except it scatters instead of pulses. I guess that's all in the name. Also, if those things get too close to you, they screw up your visor. So that's what happened there. But yeah, I guess I also kind of thought of one thing that I feel like I should add on to my commentary about commentary styles as baby sheegoff. But that's also that like different games also lend themselves to different styles of commentary, like in some ways, like games where you need to focus, there's a lot going on that can be hard to tell. Like RPGs can lend themselves well to really in-depth explanatory commentary, and as well as games where the game is really what's happening is all at once. Like 2D platformers, there's not really a whole lot that happens between action. It's just you're going through the levels, and that's what the game is. But in a game like this, where there's a lot of backtracking, and like 3D games where there's a lot of backtracking and going around and to different places and things like that, that can be sort of that sort of thing. It really helps to be able to talk about other things too. And again, I guess RPGs also, when things start to get repetitive, like if you have to grind or anything. I haven't really played too many RPGs. I've watched some Let's Plays of a few, but anyway, okay, I think maybe it's in a different area that looks kind of like this. Yeah, don't think there's really anything much to scan in this place, in this room. You just have to jump around the outside and not fall. Yeah. So, I guess that's a thing. But, so yeah. Basically what I'm saying is, different people will commentate in different styles, and different games lend themselves better to different styles. Okay, this is a scan I know you need to get here, because the ice burrower here, this scan will disappear, like, not very far into the game, for whatever reasons. Because, well, at a certain point, actually, I guess. Maybe it is rather far into the game, I don't know. But at a certain point, these things will move out of this room and be replaced by a different enemy. So, and this is the only room they ever appear in. Nice. That looks... I can't tell if that looks really bad or just really goo. Goo. I was about to say either good or cool, but apparently I couldn't decide, so my mouth said goo. It looks very goo. Well, it does look sort of like goo. I guess that's one thing you can say about it. So here we're basically exploring the Phendrana area. And I guess that's one thing about the hints thing that I guess I could have left it on. It gives you some idea of where you need to go next, so I can explain better why we're going where we are. But even then it would just amount to, that's because this is where we have to go. So really, it's not gonna help out commentary much at all if I have it on or if I have it off. So, purple door up there, keep that in mind. That could be interesting later on. So, yes, this is where it is. There's a Chozo lore just sitting here that can be kind of remote. So let's scan that. None know if our temple, the cradle, will prove powerful enough to contain this evil forever. How can we Chozo hope for it to remain intact when that which it guards writhes in the darkness, growing always stronger? The fate of this world rests with the gathering of artifacts we call the Cipher, but even it is not all powerful. It is strong, yes, an enchanted whole made of 12 links. Still, it is finite in its reach, and we who guard it are slowly succumbing. When our vigilance crumbles away into madness, the Cipher will be exposed, and the fate of Talon 4 will be beyond our influence. I like how the lore tells the story of the game. So if you don't really care about it, you can just ignore it. But it tells it in a way that really feels like you're reading basically the last notes left from a civilization as it crumbles. And that, even though it wasn't really a civilization crumbling so much as the planet basically dying, but that's beside the point. That's more so into the details than the theme. But at the same time, I feel like this game didn't do it the greatest. I mean, I know that there's the different versions. This is the earliest version that was released, I think, in the North American games. Also, I'm just jumping around here. Later on, there's going to be different ways you can jump, but for now, the only way we can go is here. But in this version of the game, the order of the lore as it was placed was a little weird. because everything was sort of out of order in all respects compared to when you would find it. So that makes it a little weird to interpret the story the way it should be. And then there were some that were just flat out contradictory to it. Some of the stuff was flat out contradictory to other things, so that was fixed in later versions. But in Metroid Prime 2, not only was there a direct, like, order of things, most of the things were found in that direct order. So, in a sense, you have a lot more flow with the other games in the series and how they did this. And on that note, here's more Chozo lore to read. And you can't even see it from here because I jumped. Many Chozo have gone beyond now, and this is a mercy. Those who remain suffer in dimensional flux. Oh great. I'm in this game somehow. No, not really. That was a stupid joke. And I ruined the flow of everything. I'm sorry. I'm still on the first page of it. I will read this again, and I will not put stupid and silly jokes in it. Many Chozo have gone beyond now, and this is a mercy. Those of us who remain suffer in dimensional flux, drifting helplessly across time and space, guided by unseen and inexorable currents. The Chozo who cling to sanity fight the tide, but our minds are weakening. Soon we will all be like the Turned, Chozo who have been utterly corrupted by the great poison. The Turned still hold to their Chozo forms, but their minds are black with fell intentions. Gone is their respect for life. They honor only destruction and seek to disrupt the artifacts holding the great poison at bay. All life taunts them, and they do not rest. Before long, they will be all that remain of the Chozo here. Interesting. Sounds threatening. We might have to be on our guard for later. On that somewhat bleak note, we have what looks to be a canyon to explore, and not really any way back out of it now that we've fallen. That's okay. You are ugly. Actually, and I guess I didn't really point it out when I was replaying the Flagra battle, like during my attempts to get everything again, whenever I missed things. That thing is really ridiculously ugly, especially whenever it gets in your face. Because it has two faces. I did not notice that until more recently. Anyway. Wow, this ice is really clear. You can see the fish through it. And you've also got very smooth slopes. That might come in handy. Anyway, let's go up here. What does this want to tell us? Platform realignment successful. Basically, these platforms cannot support your weight. Actually, it'll say as much when I scan them. Right. So basically, you step on these platforms, and they're gonna fall. If you fail this, then you can just scan that thing again to make them reappear, like in the correct positions. But if you do it right, you can get up here, and I probably should just not scan those because it makes it more surprising. But here we have the Boost Ball, a new upgrade to the Prime series, because there really isn't any kind of thing you can do with this in a sense in the other games. Although in a sense it kind of is this game's equivalent to the Speed Booster. Anyway, basically just press and hold B, and you can build up a charge and release it to dash ahead. You can use it to get up smooth half-pipe slopes like the one you see here, which is really convenient because if what we got didn't allow us to get out of here, that would be kind of pointless. that would be the end of our game if what we found at the end here was only, say, a missile expansion, or an energy tank, or something. Or something weird like, say, well, I don't want to spoil other potential upgrades. But anyway, we now have the ability to boost, which, sometimes gets us into more trouble than it helps us. But anyway, once again, we have reached that dreaded point of the game, backtracking, where I try and say things that aren't necessarily related to the game, and fail. You, sir, need a breath mint. Okay. I did. Apparently your breath is already refreshingly cold. And by refreshingly, I mean you froze me solid. This thing is annoying. I swear I'm not usually this bad at the game. Whatever. Just break some boxes. Also, yeah, you can scan that here. Basically, you can scan things like this, where if you shoot it, then it'll fall. That'll be useful later, but not now. For now, our business is back where we've already been. 2 areas we've already been. Areas we already know. But what is this? You. So. On that note, we will continue into Magmore Caverns. And I don't feel like cutting things here. It would probably be a smart idea to cut things, because we're just backtracking, and we won't really be able to get a whole lot of things. But there are a couple things I'm going to try and get. And I don't know. Now that we have the boost ball, there are things we can do in several parts of this game that we've already been to, but not so much anything more to do in Phendrana Drifts yet. Okay, so now here I said you could probably do some bomb jumping to trick this out. That was a bad idea. So, okay, now I've got all 3 of you to deal with at close range, too. This kind of sucks. Charge beam. Why am I not using my missiles? Okay, actually, these things take 2 missiles now because they're not the exact same missile frigate. So 1 charge shot is basically equal to 1 missile in this game. Now, I could go back that way. Back out the way we came at first and go through some of the ruins. There's things to do there now that we can do. But I'm going to save that sort of pick up gathering for another time. Because we haven't taken the elevator over here yet. And I feel like this will get us more efficiently to where we are trying to go in the long run. Plus, I don't know. I was about to justify that we don't want to see the same place too many times in a row, but we've seen this place more recently than we have the other part that we have already done. Okay, since we don't have grapple beam to go across this room that way, we just have to take this tunnel again. Get energy while we're here. Anyway, I don't know. I should continue trying to talk about other things. Or not. Sorry. It's quiet. I just hear noises upstairs, and I'm hoping that's just the dog moving around. Anyway. Here we are at the elevator, and I believe I will call this an episode before we go up. Well, actually, as we go up. So respawn, vibrate, feedback, and resonate in the comments below. Tell me how you feel this episode went, and how everything's going in general. I still value your feedback. And in the next episode, we will continue through the Talon overworld and see what we can do with the ability to boost now. See you then.